The Nerf Ultra Mav. Probably the most honest Ultra Blaster ever made. 60 FPS give or take, 40 feet of range, 6 round capacity. Yeah, I'm very pleased with it. I'll go into a few details in a minute, but there she is in all her wonderful glory. Alright, so I constantly say the shed's a little over 35 feet. It is actually, from where we are currently stood, 37 feet, so we can extrapolate from that. Depending on where it hits the shed, it will carry on for a little bit further, so you know, this is why I'm claiming 40 feet ranges at a push. So let's fire the 6. Got a bit of a tailwind today, so that'll help. That's a little short. And that's everything. So yeah, as I say, 40-foot range, give or take. That's that one done. So let's move on. So just to add another fault with the Ultra Darts, I've lost one. It's 37 feet to the shed. Somehow I've lost a dart. Oh well, it's good job I got spares. Alright, so for the various testing, I'm going to do away with the darts that I was using while I was building it, because they're getting a bit worn and we're going to get 6 fresh out of the box. 2, 3, 4. Where's that one? That's it. 5, 6. That'll be enough to load it once. I literally spent £10 on darts for a gag project. So yeah, we'll do the power test. It will chamber the darts. Ultra darts, sorry. It will take those. That's one thing that somebody was asking. Yes, I have rebarreled the Ultra. All these are a little tight. This might cause problems. Shut in the barrel. That's the first one. Was that a repeat? Yes, it was. That's probably the highest I've ever seen. So yeah, when I claim 60 FPS, it's 60 FPS. That's the average. 64. I don't know if that will focus in. Average for that was 64 FPS. So yeah, I can live with that. Right, so just wanted to quickly address a few things. And I apologise that that's backwards because it's the way the camera is. I put it on Reddit, and I've had a few people comment on how good the paint job is. First off, the only thing I painted on the actual blaster itself was the grip and the slide. The yellow one that I was using that as a test bed while I was prepping the shell, so the yellow one is still in one piece. I haven't killed that one off. This was a white one. It was one of the re-release ones, hence why it's got the orange release button. So the only real paint work other than on the turret was the slide and the grip. The orange detailing, that is Sharpie, because I ran out of orange paint basically. So it's all Sharpie. It looks good. The one thing I do regret is I didn't spray the whole thing, because the white on the slide is slightly mismatched to the white on the blaster itself. The Ultra logos, which as I say are backwards unfortunately in this, they are handmade, 3D, same on gold on both sides. A 3D printer would have been fantastic for that, but I bashed them out in the morning, painted them in an afternoon, whereas I'd have probably had to spend a morning just programming it into a 3D printer and then waiting a day or whatever to print it out. I haven't had much experience with 3D printers, so I don't know. So yeah, that's why they're a little bit wonky, but they are gold on both sides. As I showed, it is chambered for Ultra. I basically rebuilt the turret completely. That did take 2 goes because I got it a little bit too long and it wouldn't quite fit. And then when I introduced it from the yellow blaster to the white one, the, for lack of a better phrase, the nozzle at the end of the plunger tube, which allows the air out, it's slightly longer on the white ones, only by about 0.5 millimetre, but it was enough to cause drag, so I then had to file that back a bit. What else we got? But yeah, why, I think, is probably the most pertinent question. I think it was because the Ultra 2 was released and everybody was rebarreling it for elite darts, if you will, or waffle heads, things of that nature. And I just thought I'd do something a bit backwards. Somebody mentioned that the diameter of the Ultra darts was the same as the old Whistler heads, and I thought to myself, well, I've got a Maverick, I've got some Whistlers, that means the Ultras might fit. And true, in the very end where you load the darts in, I haven't done anything to that. That is still the same diameter. I've had to change the entirety of the barrel length to get that to fit the rest of the dart, but the actual aperture, the opening if you will, at the end of the turret, that is still suitable for Whistlers. I'm wondering if Whistlers would work in this now. I'm going to try that in a bit. Because of how I made the turret, unfortunately it didn't quite line up how I'd like it, so I had to increase the spring in the clutch so that when you do close it, it locks on. For some reason it wasn't doing that, which unfortunately now means that the Russian roulette that you can play with the Maverick, it doesn't work. You do have to push the release button to lock it back in. So there we are. Things I would do differently. I was going to try and put a ridiculous muzzle brake on the end, like they've done with the Ultra 3 and the Ultra 5. That would have been hilarious. I also wanted to put a Nerf logo on it somewhere, but there's not really a lot of space. I thought about putting a little one there, but it would have been a bit lost, and then it was a bit of a faff to actually make a Nerf logo in general. So yeah, I don't know if you've noticed it as well, these aren't quite fully square, so yeah, but no, it is ever so slightly different. The Mav down there, VAM as it says on there, is in a different position to there. This section here, I absolutely love that bit with the angle and the orange line and where it says Mav. I think that looks amazing. Everybody's commented on the paintwork and there really isn't much paintwork. But yeah, so it does shoot Ultra. It will shoot 40 feet. It is hitting 60 FPS. And it is painted on both sides. So that should cover all the questions that have been asked on Reddit. But other than that, I'm very happy with it. It will go on the wall up there somewhere. But I think because of how stupid and special this is, it needs some kind of proper mount rather than just a couple of screws. So I think that's the next thing to do. Right, see you later.